Adam, the White Hair Master. Season 2. Episode 58. In the previous episode, we saw Adam use his magic to perform the recovery technique, allowing the Scarecrow to function like an average human. At this moment, to Sarah's surprise, the straw Scarecrow continued to slowly get up and try to stabilize its body. Perhaps because the creator of this straw Scarecrow used too little material to make its bones, it was pretty difficult to stand after being cast by Adam. It fell forward and backward. The Scarecrow's body was like a drunkard, very twisted but still not to the point of collapsing. A few more minutes passed, and the Scarecrow finally got used to his new legs and stopped completely. As soon as it was able to stand, it approached and turned its somewhat scary face towards where Adam and Sarah were standing. This made Sarah extremely scared. She immediately ran to hide behind Adam. At this action of the straw Scarecrow, Adam understood that it was trying to say something, so he told the Scarecrow to reveal everything it knew. But not beyond Adam's initial prediction. This straw Scarecrow's spiritual power is still weak, unspeakable. At Adam's question, the Scarecrow turned its gaze to Adam for a few seconds, then it turned its back to him and started walking. The Scarecrow's actions now are precisely the same as when Bruce's mother met him in the dream. As soon as the Scarecrow knows someone is paying attention to him, he immediately turned and walked away, constantly turning around to see if anyone was following him. The Scarecrow headed straight towards the village with a clumsy gait like a toddler, still unsteady. Before this action of the Scarecrow, Sarah could not help but be surprised but had to say that the culprit who caused the horrible death of a child was an acquaintance of his in this village. At this question of Adam, he could only remain silent. In the end, Adam could only say that he would wait and see where the Scarecrow led them to until he could confirm. When the two followed the Scarecrow into the village for a while, an uninvited guest ran up to greet them. It was a dog. Both did not understand where this dog came from, only knew that as soon as they saw the strange appearance of the straw Scarecrow, the dog immediately became terrified. The dog ruffled its fur and then barked incessantly at the Scarecrow. As soon as he saw the dog in front of him, the Scarecrow immediately stopped and approached the dog to observe. Actually, this is not difficult to understand at all. Basically, this straw Scarecrow has only just absorbed a little spiritual energy. It can be said that it is just like a child who can't speak yet. So when he saw the dog barking continuously in his direction, the Scarecrow felt curious, so he wanted to come closer to take a look. It didn't feel strange at all at this action of the straw Scarecrow, but it was in a crowded village. If someone saw the straw Scarecrow walking in the night like that, it would be tough to explain. More than anyone else, Adam understood that it would entail a lot of unnecessary trouble, so he had to speak up to urge the straw Scarecrow to continue on his way. At the same time as reminding the Scarecrow to keep moving, Adam also bent down to pick up a small stone next to him and threw it at the dog. Initially frightened by the shape of the straw Scarecrow and was also chased by Adam, the dog showed great fear and immediately ran away. Soon the dog was nowhere to be seen. No longer distracted, the Scarecrow continued his journey. The further it went, the more it led Adam and Sarah deeper into the village. At this rate, the three of them would soon go all the way to the village. Although Adam was a little impatient, he thought that the place the straw Scarecrow wanted to take him must be somewhere at the end of the village. Indeed, the subsequent actions of the Scarecrow proved Adam's guess to be entirely correct. A little way from the end of the village, the Scarecrow stopped in front of a closed gate. By his intuition, Adam understood that the owner of this house was more or less related to Bruce's tragic death. He immediately turned to Sarah and told her to quickly call the police and Bruce's parents so they could go here together. While Sarah was on the phone to contact the police and Bruce's parents, Adam also got to work. Towards the scarecrow, Adam gave a decisive cry to recover his magic. He didn't want when his parents or the police arrived. Seeing the straw scarecrow walking around everywhere, he really didn't know how to explain it. As soon as the straw scarecrow's magic was revoked, it immediately fell to the ground and reverted to a lifeless straw scarecrow. Now, if Adam said that he had walked from the field to here, indeed, no one would believe him. After waiting a few more minutes, Adam began to hear hurried footsteps echoing back. Turning around, Adam realized that the people running back were Bruce's parents. Upon receiving the news from Sarah, Bruce's parents were perplexed. However, before she could ask what was going on, Sarah quickly turned off the phone because she still had to contact the police. So, as soon as he met Adam, Bruce's father asked why he called the two of them here. Without mentioning how the straw scarecrow brought him here, Adam only turned to Bruce's father to ask about the owner of this house. He also emphasized that there had been no considerable friction between the two families before. As for Bruce's father, of course, he knows who the owner of this house is, but according to him, however, he is not close. The relationship between the two families is quite good. Even the daughter of this family is a classmate of Bruce. While Adam and Bruce's father were talking about a few more things, behind them came the sound of a car engine. Everyone turned around and realized that the approaching car was a police car. As soon as they arrived, the police asked to see their contact person. Sarah immediately stood up to explain everything to the police, because this case was severe. In addition to the long but fruitless investigation, the police did not dare ignore any clues. So, although a little skeptical, these police officers still recorded the information that Sarah had just provided. A policeman immediately came to knock on the door. Not long after the police knocked on the door, a man appeared. This person was the owner, named Wyatt. As soon as he opened the door, Wyatt saw many people, including the police and Bruce's parents. Everyone present at the time saw Wyatt's shocked expression and panicked expression. After a few seconds of shock, Wyatt seemed to come to his senses. He immediately turned and ran. However, before he could run far, he was caught up by a police officer. With very proficient professional movements, the police officer had completely subdued Wyatt. Wyatt continued screaming and asking the police why they broke into his home despite being restrained. From Wyatt's suspicious expressions, the police didn't want to mess with him. They locked Wyatt in place with handcuffs to prevent him from fleeing and then conducted a preliminary search of the house. After a brief search, police discovered a school bag hidden in Wyatt's bedroom. Wyatt's aggressive attitude immediately disappeared as soon as he saw the briefcase. At this point, he knew that it was too much to say anything. He could only lower his head to the ground and remain silent before the police's questioning about the origin of the school bag. As for Bruce's parents, as soon as they saw the school bag found by the police, they immediately recognized it as their son's briefcase and figured it all out. The truth is that after his son was murdered, Bruce's father went back to the crime scene to find the briefcase but couldn't find it. He did not expect that it would be taken by the killer and hidden in his house. At this point, Bruce's father could not hold back the anger in his heart anymore. He immediately rushed to Wyatt to avenge his son. Fortunately, a police officer was able to stop him in time to prevent other unfortunate incidents. Despite being stopped by the police, Bruce's father kept shouting and swearing at Wyatt. He questioned him that there was no animosity between the two families. How could he be cruel to such a child? Seemingly enraged by the curse words, Wyatt no longer lowered his head to the ground. He raised his face to look Bruce's father in the eye and told why he had killed the boy. It turns out that this has a profound reason, from the time when he and Bruce's father were still children. At that time, Bruce's father and his friends continuously bullied Wyatt, causing him to have an unpleasant childhood. Up to now, Wyatt's daughter is being bullied by Bruce constantly at all times, which causes her to continually have nightmares every night. Witnessing his daughter like that, Wyatt couldn't stand it, so he killed Bruce. After hearing what Wyatt just said, Bruce's father suddenly fell silent. His anger also suddenly dissipated. As his wife knelt to the ground and sobbed loudly, Bruce's father seemed to be recalling images from when he was a child. He did not expect that just because of his unconscious acts as a child, he would cause such a tragedy for his son. The matter here is considered to have been resolved. Adam does not want to stay here any longer. He said Sarah quickly responded to the police's necessary questions, then took the straw scarecrow and put it back in its old position, then both got in the car and left the village. In the last story, not only Bruce's parents suffer great trauma, Sarah herself could not accept this. She didn't understand why Wyatt couldn't let go of his bullying as a child and turn it into a grudge to the point of killing a child. Hearing these words of Sarah, Adam analyzed her in a different direction. In his opinion, it is not simply a child's game. For some people, it will haunt them for life because of such games. For Adam, to this day, he still cannot forget the days when he was a child, when he was entertained by the children of the same school. With the mood of an experienced person, Adam completely understood Wyatt's thoughts, but there is one thing he disagrees with Wyatt. Instead of advising adults to re-educate children, he chooses to take revenge blindly.